What if I told you a man once sold himself into slavery and still became wealthy? Not lucky, not gifted, just disciplined. And his secret could change your life today. Most people think money problems come from low income. But what if that's not true? What if the real problem is how we think about money? Meet Dabasir, a man who had everything, lost it all, hit rock bottom, and then rebuilt his life from nothing. His story isn't just about money. It's about shame, fear, discipline, and redemption. And somewhere in his journey is a lesson most people ignore. Dabasir wasn't always broke. He started as a hard-working man with a decent income. But there was one problem. He loved to spend. New clothes, luxuries, things he couldn't afford. And slowly, debt crept in. At first, it didn't feel serious. Just a little borrowing here, a little there. I'll pay it back later, he thought. But later never came. The debt grew, the pressure grew, and eventually, he couldn't face it anymore. So what did he do? He ran. Let's be honest. Running away from problems feels easier, right? Ignoring calls, avoiding responsibilities. But here's the truth. What you avoid controls you. Dabasir left his home, his responsibilities, his debts. He became a wanderer. Eventually, he fell so low that he sold himself into slavery. Think about that. A free man choosing to become a slave, not because he had no options, but because he had no discipline. And here's where the story takes a turn. As a slave, Dabasir met a woman, and she asked him a simple question. Are you truly a man, or just a slave at heart? That question hit hard, because deep down, Dabasir knew the truth. He hadn't just become a slave physically, he had been a slave long before that. A slave to bad habits, a slave to spending, a slave to avoidance. And in that moment, he made a decision. I will become a free man again. Dabasir escaped slavery and returned home. But here's where most people expect the story to end. It doesn't. Because returning home wasn't the victory. Facing his past was. He returned to the very people he owed money to. Imagine the fear, the embarrassment, the shame. But instead of hiding, he faced them, and he made a plan. Dabasir decided 10% of everything he earned, he would keep. No excuses. This wasn't optional. This was his foundation. Because if you don't pay yourself first, you'll always work for others. Next, he committed to living on 70%, not 100%, not whatever's left, a fixed amount, which forced him to think, do I need this, or do I just want it? That one shift changes everything. The remaining 20%, he used it to pay back his debts, not randomly, not emotionally, but consistently, every single month. He showed his creditors something rare, commitment, and over time, something incredible happened. They began to trust him again. Picture this, a man once too ashamed to face anyone, now walking confidently through the same streets, meeting the same people, but with a different energy, not fear, not guilt, but pride. Because every payment he made was a step toward freedom. And eventually, he paid it all off, every single coin. Dabasir didn't just become debt-free. He became wealthy, not because he earned more than others, but because he mastered himself. And that's the real lesson. Wealth isn't built by luck. It's built by habits. Most people are waiting for more money, a better job, a lucky break. But Dabasir's story proves something powerful. You don't need more money to start. You need more discipline. Think about your own life. How many times have you said, "I'll start saving next month. I'll budget when the things get better. I'll fix my finances later"? That's exactly what Dabasir used to say, until later turned into disaster. But the moment he took control, everything changed. Not instantly, not magically, but steadily. And that's the part most people miss. Dabasir went from a man who ran from his problems to a man who faced them head-on, from a slave to someone truly free. And the question is, what about you? Are you in control of your money, or is your money controlling you? If this story made you think, start today, not tomorrow, not next month. Today, take control of your money, even if it's just 10%, because small steps create massive change. And if you want more stories like this, stories that can actually change your life, make sure you subscribe, because the next one might be exactly what you need to hear. Remember, the man who masters his habits becomes the man who masters his life.